You're in my domain, got the whole crowd screaming out our name. It's a blowout, it's a hurricane, it's over before you know it. Why you shaking? We're a dynasty in the making. We're the royalty, now we're breaking down the enemy. Move over for the soldiers. Take a swing, I can take a hit. If we die, it's fine, we live for this. It's all for this. We're gonna stand on top with our hands in the sky. Gonna raise our cup to the stadium lights. For the glory, for the glory. We celebrate with the city tonight. Hear the hometown cheer, it's the ultimate high. For the glory, we do it for the
Welcome everybody, and welcome to this brand new show. I am your host, Genocide, and welcome to XCW Rundown. Now about this show, I'm going to have a recap on this bi-weekly show of what happened at the last show. And at the last show that we had was XCW X-Rated, one of the annual shows that we have here in XCW history. And I'm going to go with a recap of what happened at XCW X-Rated. Now, we had Mr. Money in the Bank, Patrick O'Reilly. He's the man who claims that he doesn't get the fair shot here at XCW. He went up to Psychor, the GM, and is like, why am I not getting a fair shot? I am Mr. Money in the Bank. And all of a sudden, you see in the background, Void just chomping away at the bit. But they had a match at X-Rated. And then all of a sudden, they go back and forth, a hard fought match. And as you've seen, as he is Mr. Money in the Bank, you saw Void come out on top. But if you want to see that, you got to check it out on our YouTube page, XC Wrestling 1. And speaking of championships, because Mr. Money in the Bank, he could cash in his Money in the Bank at any time on the XCW title. But we're not going to talk about the XCW title just yet. We're going to talk about the XCW International title. Because you see, what it seems like to me, as we saw today, we have one of the biggest feuds in XCW history going on right now. I mean, we have Tommy the Man Merriman and Hazard. This is the feud that's been brewing off for a long time, since 2015 at Cold Day in Hell. Since Cold Day in Hell, when Hazard gave Tommy Merriman the FU off of the porch through the barbed wire table. And then Tommy the Man Merriman, he takes off. He's gone for a year. And he shows back up the next year at Hellbound 2016. And by this time, Tommy is the wrestler and Hazard is the retired wrestler. He's now a commentary. And I remember that incident very well, because Tommy Merriman comes out. He jumps over the table and he lays Hazard out. And then all of a sudden, you go 2 years later. No more issues with that. 2 years later, at Halloween Havoc 2018, you had the Money in the Bank, which coincidentally enough, talk about Patrick O'Reilly. You got Hazard in the match. You got Tommy the Man Merriman. You got Hazard trying to climb for the briefcase, and then Tommy costs Hazard the briefcase, and it falls right into Patrick O'Reilly's hands. I mean, come on now. And then all of a sudden, they have their match. They set up their match at Midwinter Warfare. And then Tommy trying to take out his frustrations out on Hazard. He just beats the crap out of him, takes out his leg, and destroys his leg. And you think, no more Hazard. Hazard, who is, at this time, the international champion. And we didn't know what would happen. And then all of a sudden, we come to the biggest show one of the biggest shows of the year, Glory. And all of a sudden, there's no Hazard, but there's Tommy the Man Merriman. And all of a sudden, at Glory, Tommy, he just crowned himself the new XCW International Champion. But we don't know for sure if that's even legal. We don't know if that's sure. But like I said, you have to check this out on XCW Wrestling 1 on our YouTube page. And then we come to last week. We come to X-Rated. X-Rated, and Hazard comes back. He comes out during Tommy's match. He returns, but he comes out on crutches. But he comes out with an international title of his own. And you know what's going to happen. He's going to come out and try to get revenge. And right there, we have a clip to show you here on this show right now. Let's take a look. Wow, I mean, did you see that brutality? Did you see that brawl? I mean, they brawled and they fought to the back. And like I've said, you have to check this out on our YouTube page, XCW Wrestling 1. But is there two international champions? Two XCW international champions? Won't you tell me? Won't you let us know? Our Facebook page, XCW Shelbyville. Let us know, who is the rightful international champion? Is it Tommy the Man Merriman, or is it Hazard? But Tommy the Man Merriman and Hazard, you know this feud is not over long by a long shot. I mean, with their history, it's going to be brutal when this feud finally culminates. But speaking of champions, we have guests here on this show tonight. And the guests are the tag team champions, XCW tag team champions. And at X-Rated, even though me and Brogan O'Shea, we don't get along, we got put in a match with the XCW tag team champions, the Freedom Fighters. And I want to take it to a quick commercial break. And we come back, we're going to be on the phone with the Freedom Fighters and talk to them about what happened.
Exclusive interviews, results of all the shows, hilarious segments, parodies, XCW Extra exclusive matches, and more, all on the shit sheet! Subscribe now.
Alright, welcome back to XCW Rundown. I was talking about how we're going to be joined by our XCW Tag Team Champions and X-Rated. Like I said, me and Brogan, we don't get along. And the GM, Psychor, said, hey, why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? It's like, have you not seen the brutal history between me and Brogan? But we had to become partners and face off against the Tag Team Champions, the Freedom Fighters, and they're with us right now. Hi guys, how are you doing tonight?
We're alright, how about you, man?
I'm doing good. Brady Branson and Evan Phoenix. Now, I got a few questions to ask of you for this show. Are you ready?
Yep.
Alright. Freedom Fighters, how does it feel to have Tag Team Gold?
I mean, it feels amazing. It feels like we're the only stable tag team that we have, so it's great that XCW, they think that it's great for us to have these titles and that they are giving us the opportunity to be able to hold on to the goal.
All right, Brady, what's your opinion on that?
It feels really great because me and Evan go way back to childhood friends, and to work our way up as someone that's compatible enough to get the gold in tag team feels really great.
All right. I understand that because I'm not trying to boost my ego, but I know about that because of the tag team titles. But with no tag teams left, what are your future plans?
That's the thing. I honestly don't know. I feel like us Freedom Fighters are honestly dominated the tag team division to the point where I feel like there's no point in even throwing a tag team at us anymore. Because if there's not a tag team formed right now, then what's the point of throwing another tag team of some people that don't even have chemistry at us? It's just the tag team division needs to get stronger, and if all they got to do with us is to put some misfits together, then we're just going to knock them down and prove that we're the best out there.
All right. Well, today, after the match, you guys told Psycho to stay. What's up with that?
It's one of those things where it was an unnecessary involvement by him because we were in full control of that match until the unprecedented moment where he messed up and he had to tell for it. Let me handle this. Alright. We are as strong as our weakest link.
Okay.
At last Summer Mania, in a trunk match, there was a certain person that is part of the Freedom Fighters that lost to somebody that we know as Stevie Goebel in a trunk match. Me and Brady demolished Stevie Goebel. But look what Psycho did. And then he turns around and cost us our match that we had in our hands. Psycho, me and Brady need time to think about us because we won the gold ourselves. It had nothing to do with Psycho. Psycho is just feeding off of us.
Wow.
Plain and simple.
Wow. I mean, strong words from the XCW Tag Team Champions on that. I mean, what can you say? I mean, what can you say? It was a mess up on Psycho's part, but I don't know what to say about that. I'm sorry. Well, guys, thank you for joining us here on XCW Rundown. We'll catch you later next week at Breakdown.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Wow. I mean, the tag team champions are very, very angry about what happened. And very angry what happened in X-Rated. I mean, Psycho tripped Evan Phoenix in our match. I mean, you can't help but wonder why Psycho would do that. But, nonetheless, speaking of titles, the main title, the XCW title, things heated up at X-Rated tonight because it was a flaming table match at X-Rated between Fletch and Brendan the Badman Stickle. I mean, a flaming table match between these two great competitors. I mean, let's look at the history between Fletch and Brendan Stickle. They have been stepbrothers ever since they were young. They had a brotherhood since they were young, especially since the start of XCW back in 2003, when Fletch started in XCW, and he brought his younger stepbrother in to wrestle. And then, but you never really saw anything about that. You never really saw anything about it because Fletch did his own thing by being the heavyweight, by being with the tag teams and the international. While Brendan Stickle was with the cruiserweights. And then now you got Fletch versus Stickle. You got Stickle who's upset with, he writes all of his truths in the book of Stickle. So, you know, he expresses his truth about how Fletch badgered him as a kid, how he was always bullied. And then it sets up for the championship match at X-Rated. And right now, we're going to take a sneak peek of what happened in that match right now. Wow, look at that hellacious match. I mean, that looks like there's the culmination of the brotherhood, as we can say. But if you want to see the conclusion of that match, you have to go to our YouTube page, XC Wrestling 1. And you see what happened after the match. Fletch comes to the back, and then Venom attacks Fletch, all because of what's happened in the past with Venom and Chris Jones. Venom has got under Chris Jones' skin so bad that he took out Chris Jones, and Fletch, who's friends with Chris Jones, which everybody knows the story history of that, came to check on him, and you saw the hellacious beating that Chris has taken from Venom. And now Fletch is defending Chris Jones' behalf because Chris Jones is not here. And now the whole point of this is Fletch has taken out Venom and costing him his Extreme title. So that turned Venom into the biggest monster that he is up to date. And he's now going after the XCW title. And you saw what has transpired on the XCW Facebook page with Venom's promo. You need to go check it out at XCW Shelbyville. He ripping off the fender off the van, throwing it down. and he's talking about taking out Fletch. Well, then Fletch retaliates on the Facebook page. It says he's standing in front of Madison Square Garden as the XCW champion. Says he is the pure wrestler and he can outsmart the monster by taking him out. I know the storied history of Fletch, and I know if he has the right mind to do it, he can do it. But this show is not only about that, it's also about an exclusive match that you can't see anywhere else. It's only going to be shown here on XCW Rundown. We have an exclusive dark match to show you. And that match right now is going to be none other than Patrick O'Reilly versus the XCW Extreme Champion in a non-title match, DJ Wolbert. Let's take you to it.
Welcome to this very special XCW Extra on the debut edition of XCW Rundown. I am Fletch, calling the shots here, and we have an amazing match lined up for you as we are awaiting the appearance of the 2018 winner of the Money in the Bank, and there he is, ladies and gentlemen, Patrick O'Reilly. And Patrick O'Reilly has made quite a name for himself here in the XCW since debuting in 2017 at New Breed. Not only is he Mr. Money in the Bank, but he's a former XCW Tag Team Champion, as well as a former XCW New Age Champion. And tonight, right here on XCW Rundown, he's going to be taking on a two-time XCW Extreme Champion, as well as a former XCW Tag Team Champion in his own right, DJ Wolbert. Ladies and gentlemen, we're stoked to have you here for XCW Extra, right here on XCW Rundown. And I promise, here, each and every bi-weekly, we're going to take care of you. We're going to make sure that you have the best quality matches that you could possibly get. And you can't get it anywhere else but right here on XCW Rundown. And ladies and gentlemen, here we await the arrival of the XCW Extreme Champion, DJ Wolbert. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Made quite the name for himself since his debut at Glory in 2017. And he's quite the up-and-comer, as you've seen recently. He kind of turned his back on his partner, Jesse Justice, as well as, you know, all the partners that he's touched in the XCW have kind of vanished. Whether it was Void, Brandon Hardcore Hobbs, Vapor, it doesn't matter. DJ Wolbert is the kiss of death, ladies and gentlemen. He could be the kiss of death for the Mr. Money in the Bank, Patrick O'Reilly, right now. So Patrick needs to not take DJ too lightly. DJ may be only 110 pounds, but he's 110 pounds of fury that is not to be messed with. And he's going to prove it right here in this match as the referee calls for the bell. This match is on our way. XCW Extra on the debut edition of XCW Rundown. I hope you're excited. I'm glad that you're all with us. And we're starting up with a test of strength, and probably a smart idea of DJ Wolbert to go on the attack there. I don't know if he can outpower Patrick O'Reilly, but he can certainly outsmart Patrick O'Reilly. Vicious stomps into the corner, working on Patrick O'Reilly. You know, I've been in the ring with DJ Wolbert, and he is a force to reckon with here. And those clotheslines, they may not look too vicious, but I'll tell you what, they are. He can take your head clean off with those clotheslines. And he is firmly in control of Mr. Money in the Bank, Patrick O'Reilly, right now. And this is not a match that you would typically see on... Oh, nice! This is not a typical match that you would see on XCW TV weekly, so this is definitely a breath of fresh air. You're only going to see it right here on XCW Extra. And DJ arguing with the referee there for not getting the 3 count. He came up just a little shy, but Nonetheless, he's still in control, and he has a good chance of knocking off Patrick O'Reilly, who's been in somewhat of a slump as of late, as we've seen losing to the Natural a few months back, and then even as recent as X-Rated getting knocked off by the returning Void, who was once a member of DJ Wolbert's Lake Evil. It looks like he's got him in a headlock here. Might have worked against him. Patrick power outs of and a hard shoulder tackle took DJ down. And that's the one mistake that Patrick needed DJ to make to come back into control. And he's working on the knee there of DJ Wolbert. And we know that DJ Wolbert's had some knee issues. Actually had to vacate his Extreme Championship in his very first reign due to a knee injury, and I'd hate to see him go down for another knee injury on this run, the Extreme Champion. Patrick O'Reilly, nice Irish whip, ducks the clothesline here. What's going to happen? Nice clothesline from DJ Wolbert. DJ didn't lose control for too long, and this match has been all DJ from the start. All DJ. And if this keeps up, this may be the end for Patrick O'Reilly. He's calling for him to get up. Not sure what he's going for here. Looks like he was going for maybe a bulldog or a reverse bulldog or maybe a DDT. I'm not really sure if he got all of that there, but still firmly in control is DJ Wolbert. He needs to hit a big time move. He needs to hit something that's gonna put him out. And in the reverse twist of fate from DJ Wolbert down on Patrick O'Reilly. And that may be the exclamation point, the big move that DJ needs to finish this one off. DJ to the outside, Patrick trying to buy some time, and that's probably a good idea at this point in the matchup for Patrick O'Reilly to try to buy some time in this match. Patrick trying to bring him in here. It looks like he's setting him up for a spare tire. A spare tire from Patrick O'Reilly. And now how the tides have turned, ladies and gentlemen. Just as fast as that, Patrick O'Reilly hitting the big moves and is now up on DJ Wolbert. And there's a wasteland. And this could be it. 1, 2, and a kick out from DJ Wolbert. Surprising how things have turned around. DJ Wolbert was firmly in control this entire match. DJ took his eye off the ball for 1 second, and now he's setting him up. The O'Reilly factor. And this could be it. 1, 2, and it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. Patrick O'Reilly knocking off DJ Wolbert here in our very first XCW Extra on XCW Rundown. I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. And now we're going to head back to the studio to your host, Genocide.
Wow. I mean, what a good action-packed match that we just had here on XCW Rundown. I mean, that match was better than mustard on a corn dog. But what a great start to XCW Rundown. I am your host, Genocide, and you got to keep checking out every other week. I will be coming back, and I will be giving you the rundown on the show from the previous week. But next week, we got XCW Breakdown. We're going to see what happens in the Fletch and Venom saga. We're going to see what happens with everything else. Until next time, see you later.